Hello everybody and welcome to week 4 of Richton Park's Takeaway Crafts for Summer Reading. As you can see, today we're going to make a beautiful daisy. It has kind of a 3-dimensional center. This is a really fun craft. It's good to do with kids. It's good to do as an adult. It's just a lot of fun to do. And like everything else we're doing this summer, it's something that you can do with stuff you have around the house. I think everybody probably has tissue paper of like 87 million different colors, because gift bags are the best thing ever. All right, so in your craft kit, you are going to get a whole bunch of squares of tissue paper that have already been pre-cut. They're approximately 2 by 2 inches. Not all of them are square. As you can see, this one is quite rectangular. It's okay. It's all gonna come out in the wash. It's all gonna look good at the end, okay? It comes in 3 different shades. There's a dark, a medium, and a much lighter. We're gonna mix those guys up together. You're gonna have 12 sheets of paper, which we're gonna deal with here in a moment. You're gonna have a cardboard circle with a hole punched in it, because as we've discovered, if we wanna hang something, having a hole punched in it for your hanging thread is gonna be very useful. So we're gonna have more of this wonderful orange yarn that I found. First thing we're gonna do, before I get there, I'm sorry. You're also gonna wanna use school paste. If you use Elmer's glue or some sort of a more liquidy glue, this is gonna take a little bit longer to dry. It's gonna be a little bit messier. This paste is super nice because it is a fairly dry paste. You're also going to need a pen or a pencil, something with a flat end, okay? That's gonna be very important. The first thing we're gonna do is thread our hanging string through our flower, because doing that at the end is gonna be a pain that we don't need to experience. I also have a piece of tape, not included obviously. You can use your own tape. That guy, it's gonna sit like that when we work. All right, but first, since you have 12 pieces of paper, you're gonna wanna divide them into groups of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because I don't know about you, but I do not have the strongest hands in the world. And cutting through 12 pieces of paper all at once is a bit hard for me. So first, what we're gonna do, we're going to fold these diagonally, corner to corner. Okay, nope, see, it's not exact. That's okay. It's all gonna come out in the wash. It's gonna be great. We can do that with both stacks because we're gonna cut them about the same way. Okay, see again, it's not exact. Of all the things we have in the world to be upset about, this isn't on the list. All right. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut a leaf shape. So I'm gonna start at 1 crease, and I'm gonna cut an arch. And see, I came up a little short. That's okay. Then I'm gonna cut, if I want, I could probably fold it over, but look, because it's not exact, all right. I'm gonna cut this guy a little narrower. Maybe I'll come up here and make it so it's more leaf shaped, more petal shaped, I should say. Okay. I'm gonna do that again. And again, this is why we do 6 and 6. It's much easier to cut through 6 pieces of paper. So, and I'm just eyeballing. Nature is not perfect, okay? So we don't have to be either. You know, these guys may be a little bit longer and a little more slender. That is okay. Yeah, see? So these guys are a little fatter. That's going to tell me maybe I want these guys to be the outside then, and these guys will be the inside. That works. I'm gonna pull my circle back and open up my paste, which thankfully did not glue itself shut. And I'm gonna put some paste here. And you'll remember when we did the dahlia, we kind of divided everything into 6ths. Well, this is gonna be, we're gonna divide everything into 6ths again, but it's gonna be super easy because you have about enough room for 2 leaves between these first 2. So I put them, they're a little overlapped in the middle. I can put a little extra paste back here. So, just gonna glue everything down. If I want to put a little extra back there, I can. A little on top of the flowers, a little on top of the petals. Maybe we'll turn this one this way so that they're not all just fat in the same direction. Yeah. Apparently I've been too violent with my paste because it's falling apart. Okay, and one more. And if all your leaves are exactly the same, or all your petals are exactly the same, that is okay too. Okay, so we have our first of 2 different rings that we're gonna do. The second set's gonna be offset. So again, we're gonna put some paste. And I'm gonna stick that guy down. So he's between those 2. This guy. And you know what? If I don't cover up all the paste, that's all right, because we're going to be using a lot more to continue this. This one. Two more. Okay. Yes, sometimes I lose track of what I'm doing just because we are dealing with a lot of white paper here. And it can actually be hard to keep track of what you're doing. And, oh, I was wrong, 3 more. I've got 2 more. Always make sure to divide your flower petals before you start. It'll be a little easier in the long run. Okay, so I'm gonna put this guy, and then I'm gonna put this guy. Okay, if I want to come back and I want to put a little paste underneath some of these guys so they'll lay a little flatter, I can do that. Or I can just assume that as we move on with the next part, which I think is the fun part, these guys are going to get pushed down a little bit more, okay? So now we have our 12-petaled flower. If I put my fingers here, I can feel the edges of my cardboard. So I know I do want to start right about there. And what I'm going to do, and I would definitely recommend taking different colors of tissue paper. I'm going to make an OK, put the paper over it, stick my pen down inside, and that gives me this nice little bundle. Okay, I'm going to put just a little bit of paste and stick that guy down. Okay, pull my pen out, and I've got a little guy sitting right there. I'm going to take another color. Now you can do it this way, where you put it in the middle and then kind of fold it up around. For me, that's a little awkward, but you know what? It might work for you. I'm going to put it really close and release. But I like doing it this way, so I kind of just put the middle of the pen and then push it down, a little bit of paste. Like I said, when we did this in elementary school, and I think we made like apple trees. Because I remember we had lots of green tissue paper, and I know that we used regular Elmer's glue back then, and then we had to let them sit for a really long time to dry. Well, this one, you're still going to want to probably let it sit for a good, 20, 30 minutes, but it's nowhere near the same. And this is how we get this really nice 3-dimensional feel. So, and just build it out. And then if you want to check and make sure, are you still centered? We're roughly centered, okay. If it's not exact, then work in a different direction. If this were all the way over toward this edge, I'd know I'd want to put more out over here. If you start to run low on pieces of tissue paper from the craft kit, first of all, I'm going to apologize. It's really hard to estimate how much you're going to need. So we kind of just have to, I kind of had to cut up a whole bunch and guess Kind of like hurry up and wait, but not nearly as useful. So put that guy right there. Ka-ching. By putting them close together, we're going to make this nice little bundled effect. And you can do as many or as few as you want. If you want to use all of the tissue paper I've included, it might cover all the way out to the middle, out to the edge of your circle. If you want to do just a few, you can do just a few. This is very much a whatever makes you happy, do that kind of craft. Like I said, definitely try to mix up your colors some. It was very hard to get the tissue paper to divide itself into, or to mix up together. It just didn't want to. So you might have a whole stack of the bright and not a whole lot of the dark, or any combination thereof. That's why I tried to give you 3 colors so you have a lot to choose from. And honestly, this builds out so quickly. It does not take long. So unlike last week's craft, which took at least 2 days, probably. I know it took me, it took me a long time. So if it took you a long time too, do not feel bad. That was a tough, very angsty craft. So this one is really nice because this one goes really fast. So and again, I like using paste because it dries quickly. It's not always the appropriate glue, but a lot of the time it is. Or at least you can say, well, I've made an argument for why I want to use this. You should be able to get some at the grocery store, at Walmart, at wherever you go. If I were a better friend, I'd give you some, but I am not that good of a friend. I apologize. So this is just, you just build it out until you're finished, okay? And how do you know you're finished? Because you look at it and you say, hey, that looks really good. That looks like something I want to hang on my wall or hang on my front door. And then you know you're done. So super simple. You could do this with any color of construction paper. I just use regular old computer paper to make the petals. If you wanted to make it a different color, different kind of flower, you could do that. If you wanted to you want to do something psychedelic, you could do purple leaves and a green center. See, I like to check to make sure I'm still pretty much in the middle. But that's just me. You don't have to do that. You don't have to be that persnickety. That's my thing. Okay. So I could continue to build this out, or I could just go ahead and hang it up right now. Now I've got my string on the back. I can take that, tie it in a knot, and hang it up. I think I'm going to keep building on this for a few minutes, but I wanted to show you. So this is super simple. You could even do this like with sheets of newspaper. The important thing here is putting this crease in. That helps the paper stand upright. If you don't put this crease in, the paper just gets all floppy. So it kind of serves 2 purposes. It helps you as a guide when you're cutting, and then it helps the paper stand out straight, which is pretty useful. Yeah, you could use newspaper, you could use old wrapping paper and then use newspaper to make the squares in the middle. You could use newspaper and then use magazine sheets and cut those into 2x2 squares and use those so it would be black and white with a riot of color in the middle. This would be great to do at Christmas. You could make a poinsettia. So you could do red leaves and then have green in the middle. Green and a little bit of red, because let's face it, poinsettias are kind of like that. All right. So this was pretty fun. We'll look forward to seeing you guys next week. Have a good one and enjoy your craft.